So ever since Morgan dropped, I've been getting a lot of requests to do Arjuna Altar versus Morgan, or people will be like, oh, well, I don't need to summon for Morgan because I have Arjuna Altar, and some people are going, well, I'm skipping Arjuna Altar to just try to get Morgan, because they're both very powerful AoE Buster Berserker servants, so people are like, I gotta go with one or the other, and I just want to go ahead and get out ahead and just say they fulfill different roles. Arjuna Altar is going to be this high damaging DPS servant that really is only reliant on getting his debuff off or having an ally debuff the enemy as well to just have him function normally, right? Other than that, he's pretty much fine. He's going to function the same way every single battle as long as you can get those debuffs. Whereas Morgan, not only is she more of a support berserker, but she has special niches. Now, if you can get one of these niches, or God forbid both of these niches off, she's going to look far more impressive than Arjuna Altar. We'll look at the calcs in a little bit here, but I just want to say, before we start, use whatever servants you want. If Arjuna Altar is your favorite servant, you use him. If Spartacus is your favorite servant, use Spartacus, Raiko, whoever you want to use, because at the end of the day, you need to be playing the game in a way that's going to make you happy, in a way that you enjoy the game, because then otherwise, why are you playing the game? Now, I do understand there's a lot of people that their favorite way of playing the game is just crushing everybody in their paths. That's kind of what we're talking about in this video, but do you understand that these two servants are pretty different in how they're built? So, saying that one is better than the other is going to be my preference, right? But you might have a different preference. So, with that being said, it's kind of getting out ahead. It's just, Arjuna Altar, he's got like the better deck for me personally, right? Because if you're going to be using him to destroy things, this is what I want, right? The high NP gen, the ability to get some mad NP from the arts cards, triple buster, so even if you don't have his NP up, you can still buster Brave Chain. Whereas Morgan, you can tell looking at her, this is not mainly just for damage, right? She can do the damage, but you can see this ain't your standard Zerk, because what, 90% of all Zerks have triple buster decks? So you already are off to something a bit different. Now, with that being said as well, I think we can just get into their NP damage. If we look over here, Arjuna Altar's NP damage, even at NP 1, is 37,000, right? Which is ridiculously high. And Morgan, if you're getting none of her buffs, because, you're getting the 20% attack buff, the 30% defense debuff, you're going to get about an average of 22k, which isn't really all that high. That's for comparison, around this level of damage, right? Which is not super crazy. I mean, because then you have people like Zhang Yu, who you're like, well, he hits like not as hard, but he does a lot of big crits and everything. Whereas, Morgan, you're not really going to get to rely on also being able to do big crits afterwards, because she's focusing a lot on support. However, what I mean by her being able to outdamage Arjuna Altar is, like, let's say you're just fighting a Round Table or Fey Knight, right? And you're just getting this 50% special damage, right? So you get that, and you would add that to this power mod. I'll link the calc in the description down below, by the way, for people that want to like play around with this as well. I think it's really good to be able to see how much new units are doing. But 33k, that's a bit more respectable, right? Like, you're just getting that little bit, and then you're now the second highest damaging servant, up here. And Fey is kind of a rare trait because there's only 3 servants in Fey right now. But if we're looking at Round Table Knight, that's a decent chunk of servants. Not a lot, but it's a decent chunk. And keep in mind that because she's a berserker, she's not limited like other servants. Like let's say you have the I don't know, the Boudica's trait, where she gets extra damage against Romans, right? She's really only going to be useful against like Nero and Spartacus and Caligula, because these other ones she can do work, but she's not really going to get the super effective on top of that, which is what you want. But Morgan being a berserker means she can take advantage of all of these people. Any of these people she can, well, except for you, because she's a foreigner, obviously. But anyone else she can fight, and I think that's very powerful. But then on top of that, Morgan has a special overcharge against people with a man attribute, and man is pretty vast. Like, look at all these servants that she gets extra damage against. And again, being a berserker, the only ones she can't really fight are the Hokusai and this Yang down here. And then you even have all of these like just standard mobs that have the man trait. So it's just like the likelihood of you getting this, or even let's just say you're not fighting a Round Table Knight. Let's just say you're fighting someone with the man attribute. Look how much the damage skyrockets. Look how cracked out that is. Look at she becomes insane. Dude, she loses her mind. This is an NP1 Morgan, by the way. No Grails. No Golden Fode. You know, we didn't do any of that. Just her basic buffs, and then she happens to fight someone that's a man, right? You can even get a little bit of extra damage if you're like, well, we're going to have her fight someone that she has a man attribute, you know, advantage against or something, right? But she's crazy, and then God forbid, I was looking at this earlier. I was like, well, how much does she do if she had like everything procced? And it's, Jesus Christ, dude, like she's outputting so much damage. Like this Morgan with everything active, if we go to like the all, like she's competing for like highest damage in the game, right? You know, it as an AoE servant, it's absolutely cracked. Should probably tell you how hard Musashi hits, right? If she, if this is how much damage she's doing, and Morgan still can't crack that, but that's a video for another day. The bottom line is that Arjuna Alter is going to be better if you're not fighting like a man or a Fane. I would even say if you're just getting this, I would still bring Arjuna Alter, right? I'd still bring him because this, you're still not quite getting to his level of damage. You're close, but Arjuna Alter still has things that, you know, the ease of his buff, the ability to draw in stars to his buster cards specifically, having a triple buster deck. He's just going to function a bit better, I think. And then, you know, him being able to slap buster resistance on people so then he can, like, just hit even harder in a Brave Chain. I think he's just very simple, click, click, boom, blow stuff up, right? He's very easy to use. But, dude, if you're going to see any man attribute people, which, again, is very common, you bring Morgan, because God forbid they're man and they're a round table knight, you know, which I believe all of the knights of the round table also are in the man attribute, no? Yeah, because I think with the way that, like, because man is like what? It's like actual living heroes is what they're classified as. Like, they're not mythological or like crazy in any sort of manner. Like, they're more grounded people. So I believe all of the knights of the round table qualify, no? And where's Gawain? Maybe not. Maybe not, because they kicked off Gawain. Where's Lancelot? What did they kick him off for? You have Saber Alter in here, some like magic lightsaber wielding person, but no, but none of the other knights. It's like I don't know what Nasu's doing half the time. Do they have the description? No, they don't. Okay, because I was like, whatever. So I guess that would be too broken if all of the knights of the round table were on there, but you guys get the gist that like you can hit really hard with this. You outdamage Arjuna Alter. And then maybe, really? Because I'm like, man, surely there's a way you can catch both on somebody. Okay, you can get it on Saber Alter. But really, none of the... Wait, hold on. Gareth? Does Gareth have it as well? Because Gareth's a pretty normal chick, right? Gareth's pretty mellow. Why is Gareth not a man, dude? Gareth, hold on. Side tangent. All right, we're having a little bit of a lore explanation here. What? What are you? Earth. Oh, yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, because as far as I know, Earth and Man are like more grounded. Then you have like Star, which is like the the absolutely cracked out people that are not normal. What are like? Never mind. This is not a lore episode. We're talking about these two. We're talking about the comparison. All right, no more lore. All right, you guys can talk about lore in the comments down below. I'm sure somebody, because we're in the Fate community, somebody will be like, actually, ZTL, if you read my biography that I just dropped in the comments, you'll learn everything about all the traits, which I'll probably read because I think the lore is interesting, you know. But, you know, and I'm bound to forget a lot of things when it comes to Fate lore because there's so much of it. It's hard to keep track of. But, even though, like, even when Morgan is going to have comparable damage, I think you can make an argument to use her because of the support she brings. Because she's giving everybody attack, and then she's kind of double buffing attack by lowering defense. She's taking care of herself with NP gauge. You could give this to her, or like another ally, but I think you're going to be giving it to Morgan 9 times out of 10 because you want her to be firing her NP. But I don't know, like, has some utility. Like, let's say you're using her with Castoria, because surprisingly, she works pretty well with like a Castoria Merlin build, like one of each because of how her deck is built. If you give this to Castoria so she can fire her NP to protect you, that does have some utility and does function into her own survivability because she's able to charge like her support caster's gauge to then give her protection. But then even if you're selfish and you give it to Morgan, she's making everybody's NP generation, you know, just a bit better and also really helping hers out because it's only at 50%. So I think as a support, she just functions very, very well. This is kind of the whack skill, you know. This is kind of whack. This was actually, yeah, in the Morgan video, this was this was like TL'd to being a guts activation thing. So I was like, oh, that's a bit weird that like she procs the guts and lowers attack. I was like, I guess that makes sense. You know, you want to not die whenever you proc guts. I guess that works. It's a shame it doesn't stack, that it's only like a 1-turn thing and it doesn't, you know, continually just debuff their attack. But that would probably make her broken as a berserker that takes no damage. But my final general thoughts are, you use Arjuna Alter if you're not going to be fighting a man attribute. If you're fighting someone that's in the man attribute, he's just way too... Dude, look at... Oh my god, look at the damage, bro. Because now that this might not be possible to get both. But in the future, I guess it is nice that we could potentially reach those really high numbers if you get somebody that is man and round table. I mean, like, what, we just have Saber Alter, which... Gee, I feel really bad for you, dude. That means every Saber Alter fight is now just trivialized because of Morgan. But even then, if you can just get one, you know, you're still far out damaging Arjuna Alter. You know, he's just like, his damage is good, but it's not this good, man. Look how it's crazy. It's insane. So it's like, if you're getting a man attribute, you bring her, you smack him down. Plus, she's kind of functioning as a pseudo support berserker. Which is why even if you're fighting a Fae or round table and their damage is going to be comparable, you might be able to bring Morgan over Arjuna Alter. But I do think there is something to be said for how just simple this guy's kit is and how simple his damage mod is. He just wants, you know, bonus damage against people that are debuffed, right? So until you're fighting someone with the man attribute, you bring Arjuna Alter. Otherwise, you bring Morgan, right? I hope that answered everybody's questions. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Love to hear what you guys have to say and what you guys think. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day. Peace. Late, guys.